Hello, welcome back. It's me and James today. I'm back after having a few podcasts out. Been insanely busy, but it's great to talk about cricket, which is exactly what we're going to do today because there's lots of cricket going on. We've had day two of Australia versus India. We've had the women's Premier League, which RCB still suck at. Got South Africa versus West Indies. There's so much going on. So let's just get into it. India versus Australia. Australia have managed to hit something over 450. And when I saw that score over 400, it surprised me because I'm not used to it. Don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, it looks like foreign numbers to me. I don't quite understand it. I'm a bit scared of it. But tell you what, I at the start in the preview and first day reaction and stuff, I asked for a better pitch. I wanted a pitch that would last 5 days, just a classic subcontinental pitch that starts off pretty flat, and then as the test match goes on, it'll break up a bit. And I think that's what we're going to have. Australia were absolutely brilliant. And, most of the credit goes to Usman Khawaja for his incredible 180, but also Cameron Green with his first ever test ton. That's very impressive to see. As an Englishman in, looking at an Ashes summer, it's worrying to see, but it's brilliant. And Australia they took control and they didn't panic. And one thing that really impressed me was the tail enders, who didn't really throw their wickets away just because all the recognised batsmen were gone. And Nathan Lyon and Todd Murphy actually got some decent runs. So that kind of thing, it really makes up for when somebody like Alex Carey absolutely throws their wicket away in just a stupid shot. Because as you could tell on that pitch, it was the kind of deck that if you applied yourself and you took a while to get yourself in, it didn't have absolute demons in it. And Khawaja showed that, I thought, absolutely brilliantly. What did you think of India's bowling overall in that whole first innings?
It seemed to be a lot of just Ashwin holding things together, really. I mean, Jadeja and all the spinners bowled well. They were very economical, but the Australians played them very well. And I know Ashwin got 6 wickets because he's the sort of bowler who will get that. However, at the same time, I thought, especially Cameron Green and Usman Khawaja, they played him well. They didn't let him kind of settle into a rhythm. And because there weren't those demons in the pitch, it meant that the batter was against the bowler. And I think that's the difference really between the pitches we saw in the first 2 matches and the pitches today. Is the pitches in the first 2 matches were batsman against the pitch. It wasn't batsman versus bowler necessarily. So I really enjoyed watching the battle against the spinners. But I thought Umesh Yadav, it was completely off. Didn't see him attacking. Every time he was bowling, I was like, well, that's 3 runs for Australia. Interesting that Shreyas Iyer got a bowl. Not really seen that before.
Yeah,
Don't think we'll see it much ever again.
Yeah, he chucks down some leg pies, which I'm honestly disappointed he only got 1 over. I would have hoped for at least 10, because I've got to say that like Axar Patel still isn't really. He's not showing his quality as a bowler still.
No.
He wasn't terrible, and
No.
it was he got the set batter out. He got Khawaja out, but that was more Khawaja's fault than some brilliance from Axar Patel. So I've got to say I've been disappointed with Axar, and kind of surprised that they haven't brought in Kuldeep as a potential more potent replacement. But yeah. I get it because he offers that batting depth, and he's been like the second highest scorer. So yeah, it does stand to reason. What do you think?
I think that I was just going to say, I think that if India had won the last test match, then there's potentially the reason to bring in Kuldeep Yadav because you've won the series. And the World Test Championship is still on the line. And if Australia took the attack to Kuldeep Yadav and he didn't bowl as, because you're always better when you're not in the team, aren't you? I think if he did have a bad game, then that could cost them a lot more in this game.
Yeah. But India facing 60 balls at the end of the day, they are, what are they on?
36 without loss.
36. So
yeah,
they're looking
steady.
okay. They're, there's potential here. I think if Gill and Sharma can put on a big opening partnership, things could go very well for India, because they just need to capitalize on day 3, because I think this is really going to be where it where the pitch starts to turn, and going into sort of day 3, day 4 is where it'll start getting more difficult, and we'll see the game getting a little bit spicier. I can completely see this ending in a draw, just because Australia have got such a big lead that there is quite a high probability, I think, of a draw. But I'm really hoping for a result. Things are set up quite nicely, and it's nice to see some big runs and some just a bit of excitement as well. So it's kind
India
of the tension's building, it's bubbling, which is the perfect thing for Test cricket. If it can get down to day 5 and the tension has built this far, it'll be a beautiful crescendo. So let us know what you think. How do you think it's looking? Who do you think is going to get big runs for India? I'm going to call Shubman Gill. I'm going to say that's going to be a double ton. So
a double ton.
It's going to be a double ton.
India need to get within 50 runs of Australia. Yes. Because, like I said, the pitch is going to break up. You don't want to be batting last on that pitch, chasing more than 200, especially on the last day with the pressure of the World Test Championship on the line, really. And so the runs have to come from India's top 6. You can't rely on Axar Patel and Ashwin to get you out of danger every game. So I think Australia will be looking for early inroads, maybe get at least 3 wickets in the morning session, whereas India will want to go wicketless in that morning, in that morning session and really push on. My money's on Virat Kohli century.
Ooh,
it's the day of redemption, James. Right?
Yeah, you know
right?
what?
Let's just talk about South Africa.
Right?
Have a look at Temba Bavuma. Awesome stuff. He's been it's stumps now. They've finished playing recently, and Temba Bavuma finishes the day on 171 not out.
That's lovely.
That's what you want. Second match as captain.
Temba Bavuma is, I think everybody roots for him. There's nobody that wants Temba Bavuma to fail. And for him to, I just knocking on the door of a double ton now. I really hope he gets it, because it's what South Africa need from their captain. It's what Temba Bavuma needs from Temba Bavuma. And I've actually really enjoyed the South Africa versus West Indies stuff. And it's a shame that those two don't really play that much in a calendar, in an ICC test calendar. And that's something I definitely think needs looking into, because there are some incredible players. Like, think of those South African pace bowlers. The fact that, like, the main limiting factor to Kagiso Rabada and Anrik Nortje, finishing their careers on like incredibly high numbers. The fact that limiting factor is going to be the amount of games that they can actually play because of what's in a calendar is a travesty. It's such a big shame. Those two, like Rabada, looking at the start of his career, he should be ending on Jimmy Anderson level numbers, if not better. And yet it's looking so unfeasible because of the little amount that South Africa play. And the same goes for West Indies. There are so many brilliant players there. Alzari Joseph, as an example, that, how much of them are we going to see just because of the amount they play?
Well, I've got some stats for you about Kagiso Rabada. He's been playing for 9 years. So a typical England cricketer's year will have about 10 matches. If you don't play all of them, 8 or 9 matches. So Kagiso Rabada, you're looking at maybe playing at least 70 matches in that 9-year period. He's played 59. So he's missing out quite a bit there. Like he's probably like 12 to 20 matches down. And yeah, his record's so impressive. He's averaging less than 23 with the ball. He's taken almost 300 test wickets. So yeah, it is a shame. But hopefully, yeah, South Africa will get to play some more cricket. They'll get the schedule sorted. We say hope. It doesn't look likely, does it?
Big hope.
But yeah, there's a few positives there for these teams, because they're the sort of teams which are on the edge of the big names like your England, Australia, India. They're kind of on the edge of that, and you need your captain in form. You need players coming through like Aidan Markram. Tony de Zorzi had a good first innings. West Indies, we're seeing good things from their bowlers. Alsari Joseph, seems to be getting better with every game. And they've got some good young batsmen as well, like Tanjanari Chanderpaul. So yeah, there's positives for these teams moving forward, and they just need more Test cricket.
Now, Test cricket, World Test Championship stuff is getting quite exciting, because over in New Zealand, Sri Lanka are giving the Kiwis a bit of a pasting, because Sri Lanka in what are we nicknaming it? Chaz Ball for Chris Silverwood. He's yeah, something like that. It's the Sri Lankans put on 355, and there were some pretty impressive knocks in there that England would have been very proud of. Particularly Kusal Mendis, who put on 87 off 83 balls in at 3. So, very, very kind of Bazball-y numbers. And they've currently got New Zealand down 162 for 5. So do you think, like, what is this? What am I looking at? Is it a new tactic for Sri Lanka that they're going to go forward playing in this way? Or is it that they know that New Zealand just had an absolute pasting from England like 90% of the time in the last few tests, and that's just the way you beat New Zealand? You just really bring the attack to them and go aggressive.
I think it's something that the Sri Lankan system is trying to achieve, is that more aggressive mindset. The England Lions had a tour of Sri Lanka recently and played Sri Lanka A, and Sri Lanka A did the exact same thing. They were batting at like 5 and over, like going for it in a test match. And I think that's what, again, they're trying to do, but they've got naturally attacking players. Kusal Mendes, he made his name as a Sri Lankan cricketer playing attacking cricket. So why are they stopping him from playing that attacking style in the test match arena? Dhananjaya de Silva, exactly the same, more of the aggressive type, whereas someone like Dinesh Chanderpaul, who's more your typical test cricketer, play your natural game. And I think that's what we're seeing. They're just letting the Sri Lankans play how the Sri Lankans play. And you think of the great Sri Lankans of the past, Matai Muralitharan, Chaminda Vas, thinking of the Lasith Malinga, right? These are people who all bowled in different ways, and they were encouraged to do that. And I think if Sri Lanka continue to do that, that's what's going to allow them to produce some great cricketers. Lahiru Kumara, fast bowler, and he was great to watch. And he's troubled that middle order of New Zealand and allowed Sri Lanka to get on top of New Zealand. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if New Zealand can fight back. And if Sri Lanka win, what's the situation with the World Test Championship? Isn't it if Sri Lanka win?
So if Sri Lanka
or 2-0?
Sri Lanka have to win both. So PD, I butchered it on yesterday's video. So thank you, PD, and somebody else also came to my rescue. Ankit also came to my rescue. So basically, it is that. So Australia have qualified for the World Test Championship final. Okay. Right now, India is fighting for a place. If India wins, then they meet Australia in the final, regardless of Sri Lanka's results. If India loses, Sri Lanka has to win 2-0 against New Zealand to qualify for the finals. And if India loses and Sri Lanka wins the series by 1-0, then India goes to the final. So provided Sri Lanka can beat New Zealand twice, and India then lose this match,
Mm.
then Sri Lanka will go to the final, which I would love it to come down to the wire. I like a bit of drama.
Yeah. But I don't see New Zealand with their impressive home record. They should have lost against England, but they didn't. So their home record continues. Yeah, I don't see them being beaten in New Zealand 2-0 by Sri Lanka,
No.
who don't grow up on pitches anywhere near the New Zealand pitches. So, yeah, good luck to the Sri Lankans. Can't write them off. I'm enjoying watching them play Test cricket. Chris Silverwood is a much better coach of Sri Lanka than he was of England.
Yeah.
I think that's the message. So yeah, it's great stuff. Right, should we go to talk about the Women's Premier League, because RCB women continue to be struggling. They've lost 4 in 4. It's quite similar to RCB's first ever IPL season in 2008, where they came second to last in the table. But I think the key for me when it comes to the RCB team is the players they spent big money on aren't doing enough. And in terms of how the other Indian players are doing, other than Shreyanka Patil, I've not really seen any of the young Indians stand up or do anything of note. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's very much a case of some big name players standing up sometimes. But if you contrast RCB with a team in the WPL that is very successful at the moment in Mumbai Indians, everybody seems to be contributing. There seems to be a complete balance in the side. And everybody has a defined role. Now, RCB, a couple of years ago, maybe 3, they had an issue where a lot of their players didn't have a defined role. And then kind of last season, RCB turned it around and they said, right, okay, we're going to give these players defined roles. They are going to know exactly where they're coming in and exactly what they're expected to do. Glenn Maxwell's coming in at 4 every time. KOHLI's going to open, and Dinesh Karthik is always going to come in the last 4 overs if there's a wicket gone. And people knew what they exactly needed to do, and they performed that well. RCB at the moment don't seem to have that. They're relying very heavily on Sophie Devine, Elise Perry, and Heather Knight, it seems. And absolutely right. Smriti Mandana isn't quite pulling the weight at the top of the order. And yeah, other than Patil, there doesn't seem to be any kind of excitement or exciting Indian players for RCB. So yeah, there is a definite issue, and I don't know if they can turn it around. I certainly don't see them winning or getting close to the final at the moment, but I think there is potential for them to win a few games if they can balance the side a bit more, and if they can just give defined roles and decide exactly how they want to play, because it seems like other teams have figured it out.
Yeah, I think they've got a little bit of a break now. I know the Women's Premier League games are coming thick and fast, but they've got a little bit break in that they're not playing all weekend. They're not playing till Monday. So they've got this weekend to kind of regather, consider where they go from here, and try and, in these last 4 games that they've got, try and come away with a few victories, 2 or 3, like you said. The UP Warriors, Alyssa Healy has probably been the best batsman in women's cricket for the last 3-4 years. And she just proved her class again. Devika Vaidya as well looked like she was just supporting Alyssa Healy, who seemed to be batting on a different pitch to everyone else who played in that game. And I know Elise Perry has been a standout all-rounder for a long time, but she's just been part of this amazing Australia squad, and she's not won the games by herself. and RCB can't expect us to do that.
Yeah,
I also think yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, I also think that it feels a little bit like getting Elise Perrier. I don't think it's a bad pick at all, but she isn't that aggressive of a batter. And like you say, she hasn't won that many games by herself in recent memory. It feels a little bit like RCB in the first IPL season, getting the likes of like Jacques Callis, who, you know, if you look at his stats now, he just wasn't a T20 batter. He is one of the greatest ever batters to play the game of cricket, but not in T20 because he just couldn't really go that fast. He loved batting too much to be close to throwing his wicket away. And I don't know whether RCB have kind of fallen into that same trap of picking big names that are like, you know, renowned in women's cricket, but not the ones that are going to win you the matches. And yeah, I think that might be the issue.
I also think that we're playing catch up now, because if we try and change things too much, then it's finding the balance between changing things too much and not changing things at all. And I think Heather Knight, she should really, for me, she needs to be batting higher up the order. She's in there as a finisher, but if she bats for the majority of an innings, then that will help a lot. And yeah, just a silly run out, really.
Yeah.
And that was the problem.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually talked about the Mumbai game either.
Oh yeah.
Which that was, you know, a very resounding victory. Which, yeah, it was only yesterday, so I don't think we talked about it. But
no.
Mumbai and Delhi, top two teams. I was quite excited for the game, but my goodness, Delhi got rolled. It was an absolutely standout performance from Sakit Ishaq, who she's been an absolute gem. You talk about like getting Indian players, it's also IPL and WPL. The key is domestic talent. And yeah, Sakit Ishaq, getting her 3 wickets under 5 and over, absolutely outstanding. Another standout, Izzy Wong, who bowling absolute rockets, only went for 10 runs off her 4 overs and took 3 big wickets. And then Hayley Matthews, who I wouldn't have classed her as a genuine all-rounder, but she seems to be a genuine all-rounder because she's taking wickets and she's scoring runs at the top of the order. So yeah, it's really good to see. And yeah, Mumbai Indians, who I said at the start I was probably going to support just because they have Nat Siver and Izzy Wong. They're battering everybody, and I do not see how they get beaten at the moment.
No, I don't think they will. Anyway, I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah.
Have we got any C&Qs, or is it?
No, we don't have any C&Qs. So send in your Cricket Nerds questions, because what on earth are we meant to do at the end of a video? Do we just sit here in silence?
If you have sent one and we've missed it, we're so sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Send it again. You know what? Go on every single one of our videos and put that comment, and that will help us out no end.
Don't skip the ads.
Don't skip the ads. Yeah. Yeah, please please subscribe. All those things that you're doing at the moment is to support us. We really appreciate it. And we hope that we will see you soon on our next episodes, our next podcasts, because we're going to bring some more top quality cricket content for you. Make sure you listen to us as well on all your podcasting sites if you prefer to do that. And also follow us on social media. The link tree is in the description as per usual, so that you can just bombard us with tweets and Instagram likes and all those other things, because that's what we want. So yeah, thank you very much, and we will see you next time.